In 2025, one question has obsessed music fans worldwide. Where the hell is Susan Boyle? The Scottish sensation who stunned Britain's Got Talent and sold 25 million records just vanished. For nearly 3 years, the woman who proved dreams come true disappeared completely. No concerts, no albums, barely a social media whisper. It's like the humble singer from Blackburn became a ghost. But the shocking truth behind Susan's mysterious absence is more devastating than anyone imagined. What really happened to the voice that moved millions? The answer will leave you speechless. Susan Boyle's world collapsed on an ordinary morning in April 2022. The 61-year-old was going through her usual routine in her modest West Lothian home when catastrophe struck without warning. She suffered a major stroke that threatened to destroy everything she'd spent decades building. The woman whose voice had conquered the globe suddenly couldn't speak properly. The singer who topped international charts couldn't hit a single note. Doctors delivered the most crushing news any artist could hear: she might never record music again. The irony was brutal. Susan had already survived a lifetime of struggles that would have broken most people. Childhood bullying, being wrongly labeled as having brain damage, losing both beloved parents, and fighting through decades of obscurity before her miraculous BGT breakthrough at age 47. She'd overcome every obstacle life threw at her, only to have her greatest gift ripped away just when she'd found her place in the world. The stroke wasn't just a health crisis, it was an identity crisis of the most devastating kind. The medical reality was terrifying. Susan's stroke left her with severe muscular weakness down the entire left side of her body. Her speech became slurred and nearly incomprehensible. Most heartbreaking of all, her legendary voice was reduced to barely a whisper. The woman who'd once commanded standing ovations from thousands at venues like the London Palladium was suddenly trapped in her own body, unable to do the one thing that had defined her entire existence since childhood. Susan's response was to retreat completely from the world that had embraced her. She stopped posting on social media, where she'd maintained an active connection with millions of devoted fans. All scheduled appearances were quietly canceled. Media requests went unanswered. The woman who'd been one of the most accessible celebrities suddenly became a hermit behind the doors of her council house. For her global fan base, it was like watching their hero slowly fade into nothing. The silence became deafening. Rumors started circulating about her condition, with some outlets speculating she'd never perform again. Others whispered about depression and giving up entirely. Her official social media accounts went dark, leaving fans desperately searching for any sign of life from the woman who'd inspired millions with her story of late-in-life success. The entertainment world moved on to newer sensations, seemingly forgetting about the Scottish singer who'd once been the most talked-about person on the planet. But what nobody realized was that Susan's silence wasn't surrender, it was preparation. While the world assumed she'd given up, something extraordinary was happening behind closed doors. The woman who'd already proven that dreams can come true was about to show that sometimes the greatest comebacks happen when nobody's watching. Her disappearance wasn't the end of Susan Boyle's story, it was the beginning of her most incredible chapter yet. While the world believed Susan Boyle had given up, the reality was far more inspiring. Behind the closed doors of her Blackburn home, the Scottish singer was waging the most brutal battle of her entire life. She wasn't retreating from her dreams, she was fighting like hell to reclaim them. Every single morning, Susan forced herself through grueling rehabilitation that would have crushed someone half her age. The woman who'd already proven she was tougher than anyone imagined was about to demonstrate that true champions never really quit. The physical challenges were overwhelming. Susan's stroke had left her struggling with basic functions that most people take for granted. Speaking clearly became a monumental effort. Her left side remained weak and unsteady. Simple tasks like holding a microphone or maintaining proper posture while singing seemed impossible. But Susan approached her recovery with the same determination that had carried her through decades of rejection before her BGT breakthrough. She wasn't just trying to get better, she was fighting to get back everything the stroke had stolen. Her daily routine became a masterclass in perseverance. Speech therapy sessions that left her exhausted and frustrated became as regular as breathing. She practiced vocal exercises that pushed her damaged voice to its absolute limits. Physiotherapy sessions worked to rebuild the strength that had been lost. Hour after hour, day after day, Susan pushed through the pain and disappointment that would have destroyed most people's spirits. She later revealed she'd logged over 1,000 hours in her recovery, essentially working a full-time job for an entire year, all focused on getting her life back. The emotional toll was just as devastating as the physical challenges. Susan had spent her entire life believing her voice was her purpose, her gift to the world. Losing that felt like losing herself completely. There were dark moments when she questioned whether the fight was worth it. The woman who'd inspired millions with her story of never giving up was now battling her own demons about whether dreams really could survive such brutal setbacks. Friends and family watched helplessly as she struggled with the possibility that her singing career might be over forever. But Susan's support system refused to let her surrender. Her manager Geraldine became her rock, providing constant encouragement during the darkest periods. Vocal coaches worked tirelessly to help her rediscover her range. Medical professionals pushed her beyond what seemed possible. Most importantly, the memory of her mother's words, that she had a gift and must use it, kept echoing in her mind during the most challenging moments. The breakthrough came gradually. First, she managed to speak clearly for short periods. Then she could hold simple melodies. Slowly, painfully, the voice that had moved millions began to return. It wasn't the same. Recovery never brings you back to exactly where you started. But something was emerging that was perhaps even more powerful than before. Susan was discovering that surviving something so devastating had actually made her voice richer, more emotional, more connected to the human experience than ever before. April 1st, 2025 marked one of the most emotional comebacks in entertainment history. After nearly 2 years of complete silence on social media, Susan Boyle shocked the world by posting a video that sent her millions of fans into absolute frenzy. Looking radiant with fresh highlights and wearing a vibrant hot pink suit, the 64-year-old announced words that nobody thought they'd ever hear again. "I'm back, definitely back." The timing couldn't have been more perfect. It was her birthday, and she was giving the world the ultimate gift by revealing she was ready to chase her dreams once more. The video was everything fans had been praying for. Susan looked healthier and more confident than she had in years. Her speech was clear and strong, showing just how far she'd come from those dark days when the stroke had stolen her voice. But the real bombshell came in her caption, where she teased wonderful new projects that she couldn't wait to share. After years of uncertainty, Susan was finally ready to reveal that her recovery had been nothing short of miraculous. The woman who'd been written off by medical professionals was proving once again that she's absolutely unstoppable. The announcement sent shockwaves through social media. Within hours, her post had received 500,000 likes and over 50,000 comments from fans who'd never stopped believing in her. Messages poured in from around the globe, with people sharing how much they'd missed her and expressing their excitement about her return. One fan wrote, "Susan, you ate these looks, happy birthday to my queen," while another said, "Can't wait to see you performing again." The outpouring of love proved that Susan's connection with her audience had never been broken, even during her longest absence. But the real proof of her recovery came just 6 weeks later in May 2025, when Susan shared perhaps the most emotional update of her entire career. She posted a photo of herself back in a recording studio for the first time in 6 years, with a caption that brought tears to fans' eyes worldwide. "Today was wonderful, emotional, and everything in between," she wrote. "I made my return to the recording studio for the first time in 6 years, something I was told I might never achieve again. But here we are in my happy place." The significance of that moment cannot be overstated. Medical professionals had genuinely believed Susan might never record again. The stroke had been that severe, the damage that extensive. For her to not only recover her voice but to feel confident enough to return to professional recording was nothing short of a medical miracle. Susan credited her manager Geraldine for being her absolute rock through everything and helping her get back to where she belonged. The gratitude in her words showed just how close she'd come to losing everything she'd worked for. The studio session marked more than just a career milestone. It was proof that the human spirit can overcome absolutely anything. Susan had spent 3 years fighting her way back from the brink of career-ending disaster, and she'd emerged stronger than ever. Here's something that will blow your mind about Susan Boyle's current situation. Despite having an estimated net worth of £22.40 million, she still lives in the exact same council house where she grew up as one of 9 children. While most celebrities with that kind of wealth would be living in mansions and driving luxury cars, Susan has chosen to stay in her modest Blackburn home that she purchased for just a 111,000 talent, a mere fraction of what she could afford. The woman who conquered the world stage still does her own grocery shopping and sticks to a weekly budget that would shock you. Susan's approach to money is as humble as everything else about her. Despite earning millions from album sales, tours, and royalties, she maintains a weekly spending budget of just $300 and $600. That's less than what many people spend on a single dinner out. Yet Susan considers it plenty for her needs. She's openly admitted that after 47 years of having no money, she's learned to save for a rainy day. This frugal mindset has actually helped her build an impressive business empire that most people don't even know exists. Beyond her music career, Susan has quietly accumulated wealth through several business ventures. She owns companies called Dual Limited, Spear Business, Spear Limited, and Spear Films, which together have amassed an additional $2.5 million. These investments show that behind the humble exterior, Susan has been making smart financial decisions that ensure her long-term security. She's not just a talented singer, she's become a savvy businesswoman who understands the importance of diversifying her income streams. The most touching part of Susan's financial story is what she did with her first major windfall. After her BGT success, she bought a luxury detached villa for £300,000, thinking she should live like other wealthy celebrities. But Susan never moved into the house because it felt too fancy and didn't align with her values. Instead, she let her niece live there while she stayed in her family home. This decision perfectly captures who Susan really is, someone who values family history and emotional connections over material possessions. Susan's attachment to her childhood home goes far deeper than just saving money. The house holds decades of memories with her beloved parents, who supported her dreams even when the rest of the world doubted her abilities. She said that there's a bit of history attached to this house, and that it's where she feels safest, especially considering the bullying and abuse she endured for most of her life. The house represents stability and continuity in a life that's been marked by dramatic changes and challenges. Her neighbors still can't quite believe that one of the world's best-selling recording artists lives among them. Susan continues to drive herself to local shops, attend the same church she's gone to for decades, and maintain friendships with people who knew her long before she became famous. She's even been known to volunteer at community events and help with church activities, proving that massive success hasn't changed her fundamental character. This authenticity is perhaps why her fan base remains so devoted. They know Susan Boyle, the superstar, is exactly the same person as Susan Boyle, the neighbor. Susan Boyle's life in 2025 tells an incredible story of someone who's managed to balance global superstardom with staying true to her roots. At 64 years old, she's never been married and continues to live with her beloved cat Pebbles in the same house where she cared for her aging parents for decades. While many celebrities her age are settling into retirement, Susan is experiencing what feels like a second career renaissance, with exciting projects that prove her stroke was just a temporary setback rather than a permanent ending. Recent public appearances have shown Susan looking absolutely radiant and healthier than she's appeared in years. In July 2025, she attended Wimbledon, wearing a gorgeous white dress and blazer, complete with a summery hat that had fans commenting on her stunning transformation. She was photographed with renowned chef Marcus Waring, who prepared a special lunch for her party before the ladies' final. The images showed Susan beaming with joy, looking every bit like someone who's genuinely excited about life again. Her caption thanked Marcus for the most delicious lunch and called it a proper treat, but the real excitement surrounds Susan's upcoming projects that she's been teasing for months. She's secured a cameo role in a new Rupert Everett film scheduled for release in late 2025, and she's not just acting, she's also contributing a brand new song to the soundtrack. This marks her first original recording project since her stroke, making it incredibly significant for both her personally and professionally. The collaboration shows that major filmmakers still recognize Susan's unique ability to connect with audiences through her voice and presence. The entertainment industry's continued faith in Susan speaks volumes about her enduring appeal. Despite being away from the spotlight for several years, she remains one of the most beloved figures in British entertainment. Her Instagram bio continues to tease that exciting news is coming soon, keeping fans on the edge of their seats about what she might announce next. Industry insiders suggest she's working on multiple projects simultaneously, including potentially new music that could mark her first album release since 2019's 10. What's most remarkable about Susan's current situation is how she's managed to maintain her down-to-earth personality despite everything she's been through. She still volunteers at her local church, the same one she attended during her childhood. Neighbors regularly spot her doing her own shopping at local stores, often stopping to chat with people who've known her since long before she became famous. She drives herself around West Lothian in a modest car, refusing the luxury lifestyle that her wealth could easily afford. Susan's relationship status remains private, though she's previously mentioned dating an American doctor she met during a U.S. tour. She's always been incredibly guarded about her personal life, preferring to let her music do the talking, rather than courting media attention through relationships or controversy. This privacy has actually enhanced her mystique, making fans even more invested in her story and eager to support whatever projects she chooses to pursue. At 64, Susan Boyle is proving that the best chapters of someone's life can come at any age. The truth about where Susan Boyle is now will surprise everyone who thought her story was winding down. After recovering an incredible 90% of her voice following over 1,000 hours of intensive therapy, Susan isn't just back, she's potentially entering the most exciting phase of her entire career. The woman who was told she might never sing again is now working on what could be her most meaningful music yet, with industry sources suggesting she's preparing to announce projects that will remind the world why she became a global phenomenon in the first place. Susan's current daily life reads like the perfect balance between ordinary and extraordinary. She still wakes up each morning in her childhood bedroom in Blackburn, makes her own breakfast, and tends to her cat Pebbles. But now those ordinary mornings are followed by recording sessions, video calls with producers, and planning meetings for projects that could reach hundreds of millions of people worldwide. The woman who spent decades in obscurity before her BGT breakthrough is now in the enviable position of being able to choose exactly which opportunities align with her values and artistic vision. Her recent return to the recording studio wasn't just symbolic. It was the beginning of what insiders are calling her comeback era. The 6-year gap since her last professional recording has only made her more selective about what she wants to say through her music. Susan has hinted that her new material will reflect everything she's learned about resilience, hope, and the power of never giving up, even when medical professionals tell you your dreams are over. The stroke experience has given her voice a deeper emotional resonance that could result in some of the most powerful recordings of her career. But perhaps the most shocking revelation about Susan's current situation is how much she's embracing modern technology and social media. The woman who was once hesitant about the digital world has discovered that platforms like Instagram allow her to connect directly with fans without media filters. Her recent posts show someone who's genuinely excited about sharing her journey, from recovery updates to behind-the-scenes glimpses of her creative process. This direct connection with her audience represents a major shift in how she approaches her public persona. Industry experts believe Susan is positioned for what could be the most successful phase of her career yet. Her story of overcoming a devastating stroke has only added to her inspirational appeal, while her absence from the spotlight has created massive pent-up demand for new material. Record labels are reportedly interested in working with her again, and streaming platforms are eager to feature whatever she decides to release next. The combination of her legendary voice, inspiring personal story, and renewed creative energy makes her one of the most anticipated comeback stories in entertainment. The real answer to "Where is Susan Boyle now?" is both simple and profound. She's exactly where she's always been, in her modest Scottish home, dreaming big dreams and working tirelessly to make them come true. The difference is that now, at 64, she has the wisdom, resources, and platform to make those dreams bigger and more impactful than ever before. Susan Boyle isn't just back. She's back and ready to prove that the best is yet to come.